Page 73, theme from Symphony No. 6, first movement by Tchaikovsky. On page 72, they're introducing you to a real mess. Major, minor triads and all kinds of stuff. We're really getting into it here. However, it's kind of important you understand it, at least to some extent. And if you want to compose or improvise, you really need to understand it. So I would prefer they teach you about the major and minor and augmented and diminished intervals first, and then the triads, but they just jumping right into the triads. So let's just talk about this just briefly. This takes C major because it uses all the white keys. You know what an interval of a third is? It's like every other note. Okay. Well, if I take and I have an interval of a third, and the bottom note is the first step of a scale, a major scale, it's be C here. That's a third. That interval is a major third. And that works with any major scale. G major, here. I'm here. Well, if I start with G and I do a third, that is a major third. And it works with every major scale. Step one, if it's built on step one of the scale, it's a major third. Well, triads are built on thirds. Go here. A major triad has a major third in it, and then a minor third on top. It's a major and minor. That's a minor third. Just take my word for it, it's a minor third. All major triads are this way, doesn't matter what the key is. It's a major third and a minor third on top. That's a major third, that's a minor third. Here, that's a major third, that's a minor third. They all work the same way. That's a major triad because it starts with a major third here. A minor triad starts with a minor third, and a minor third you just lower it a half step. So here, instead of here, I go here. If it's a minor scale, like C minor, again, the triad built on step one of that scale is minor, and that works that way for all minor scales. Major scales, it's a major triad, or major interval, and minor scales, it's a minor. So here, well, I still have that. I still have my triad, but now they're reversed. Now it's a minor third and a major third stacked. That's a minor triad because it has a minor third and then a major third. The only difference between the major and minor triad is that middle note. It goes down one. Works that way with any key. Okay. They're talking diminished triads. Ain't this fun? Well, what it is, you start with a minor triad and you simply take the top note and lower it a half step. So now you have two minor thirds, here and here. A diminished triad. All diminished triads, it's simply two minor thirds stacked on each other. That's all it is. So it's here. They have a rather interesting sound to them. I actually like it. And that's a diminished triad. Takes a while to kind of absorb all that junk. The idea is this is a perfect fifth, interval of a fifth. We don't say major, minor fifths. They're perfect or imperfect. Well, perfect, and if I lower a perfect fifth down a half step, it is called a diminished fifth. Somebody in a padded room a long time ago come up with all this mess. That's what we're stuck with. So if I diminish it or I lower it, it's a diminished fifth. But if it's a third, that's major and minor. That's a minor third there. So here, and just in case you're wondering, if I went the other way and I augmented it or added to it or increased, it's an augmented fifth. So fifths, you can diminish them or augment them. With triads or with thirds, I can make it minor. If I go up, that is still an augmented. So it would be an augmented third too. So we have different colors of these intervals. Now we learn these over time because they're not, some are major and minor and some are augmented and, or perfect and So just try and absorb what I've explained so far, and you can use that as your starting point, your building block to expand out to the other stuff. This piece uses these diminished triads. Let's take a look here at the beginning. In the left hand, you're starting out with a D major triad, because it's a major and a minor. And then the third measure over, both of these top notes go down a half step here. Now it's a diminished triad, because the major became a minor and the perfect became a diminished. For that one measure, and then the next measure it goes back. Remember, those accidentals are only good for the measure. Then they go away. Go down to the third line in the left hand here. You're here, that's a C. Figure these notes out one at a time. You have a C, an E flat, and a G flat. Now again, it's diminished. And then in the next measure, you have a B, an E natural, and a G. In case you're wondering, that's a minor, because the B can go on top, and it's just an E minor triad. And then the next one, you have an A sharp, a C sharp, and an E. It's diminished again. Don't you just love this? And then to here, A, D, F sharp, and that is a D major triad. They just put the A on the bottom. And the next measure, this fourth line down, is G sharp, D, E. Well, there's your 5/7. Here. So we're using these chords in here. They have some interesting colors to them. Now, talk about this. Common time or 4/4 time, 2 sharps. So it's either in D major or B minor. Now look at the end. Where's it end? Here? D major? I'd say it's D major. But it's got some harmonies in here that's really nice. Right hand first. 1, 2, 3. Watch this fingering. This kind of fingering happens a lot in piano, so I suggest you get comfortable with it. Get to where you can actually do it without looking. Now when you come back up, you can use fourth finger on that D if you want. It's more comfortable. And then the second line, here we went on down. Thumb. So the second line, last measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 2. So you can do that. And that's really about it for the right hand. It's the bottom, the last line. You're coming down here. And then that's the F sharp D. There's 2, 5, 1, 5. It's up to you. Left hand, keep the left hand soft because the right hand has the melody. So all of these, play them legato as you can. And here, I don't care what finger, I tend to use 4/2. But you can use their fingering if you want. I just don't like having my hand up here if I don't need to. So here or here, because the chord is really here. We're not using the B. But that would be the fingering for the chord, so that's how I would typically finger it. I finger these things in these pieces similar to what I'd finger the chord in most cases. Not always. There's exceptions. Gotta be exceptions, don't you know? So work that out and then put the hands together. See, as you're doing this, you have the 2/8 notes at the end where you have a rest in the left hand. That gives you one beat to get your hand up here. So be sure you can do that. That arpeggiating chord. Real quick, no, it's not rhythmic, it's just quick. And I play the bottom note on the beat, so it's here. Some people would play all four of these notes as one rolled chord. It's an interpretive thing. There's not a lot of time here to do that, so I just play the bottom note on the beat and keep going. You got to get out of the way quick because the right hand needs that note. And then you're doing that again, and then at the bottom you're here. Here you're holding it down, it's a whole note, but here you're not. And then here. Kind of get an idea of what your hands are doing and get rid of any hesitations you have. You work on those spots because the beat in this piece has to keep going. Then we can add maybe, as far as the articulation goes, it's all legato except for the slurs in the right hand. The left hand doesn't have any slurs to speak of. It's the right hand. Lift up and make sure we get that. But you have rests in the left hand. We want to hear that. And then the dynamics, it's softly and gently. That's the right hand. Keep the left hand very soft. Now here they want you to crescendo up to here. You might exaggerate that at first, and then once you get a handle on it, then you can bring down the loudness, just to crescendo a little bit. Up to here, then come back down, and again soft, and then you crescendo again. Right there. Here, you're going to crescendo up to a moderately loud and lift up before you do that. And that's the right hand that goes moderately loud. Keep the left hand soft, so it's again. Lift up. So you're lifting up on these slurs in the right hand, but not the left, because there's no slurs. So again, the third line. Come back down to moderately soft here. Now you're going to go up to loud. When you repeat that, it's loud second time. That's the right hand. The left hand can come up a little bit, but keep it under. Until you go to the second ending there at the bottom. You're sort of loud. I mean, you came down at the beginning of the fourth line there. I think you're only about medium loud here. Then you're medium loud, softer, down to very soft. Don't get very soft in those last two chords. Those are very soft. So that last two measures, you're soft and then very soft. Sort of. Get to know it so you can feel these dynamics. And I suggest you go listen to the orchestra play this. There's lots of recordings of this available all over on the internet. Just go search for it. The Tchaikovsky Symphony No. 6. And you listen to the whole symphony really, but this is from the first movement. Now we need to smooth this out and we want to add the overtone, so we need pedal for that. And it's going to be overlapping pedal. We don't want it to get too mushy. And this is not a fast piece. This is sort of a medium range in the middle on the slow side, sort of. It needs to flow, but not fast flow. Huh? I'm going to push the notes down first and then the pedal. And when I change the pedal, I'm going to do it right after I play the notes. So at the beginning of the second line here, I want to hear this. I want to hear silence here. So to start with the last measure, the first line you're here, I lift up right when I play that first note. And I don't pedal again until I play the second note. Here. And here I would not pedal this. Just lift the pedal up with the right hand. So we hear that silence there. And you're going to keep the left hand down for 3 counts. You don't need to pedal here. Pedal this. See, one of the things, we got problems in here, and that is you use pedal to help build up the overtones and the sound and the excitement, and that's what we're doing here. We want to do that. On the other hand, we don't want it to get too mushy, so we're split here. You'll have to decide for yourself here. If you're going to pedal it, I still want to hear the silence here. If you're going to pedal it, you might pedal it, change it every beat. Something, but I wouldn't pedal it. Now here you pedal. And again, third line down, going from the second to third measure, I raise the pedal up with the right hand. I want to hear the phrase. So again, starting with the third line. At the end of the line, and I don't pedal until the F sharp in the right hand. And again, same pedaling as before here. I don't pedal the 8th notes. You'll have to decide what you like to hear and pedal it accordingly. Ultimately, you're the judge. And then the last line you're here. Leave it down. Now we're going to change it because we're getting softer, and we got to get rid of this overtones. We got to calm this down, and you do that by changing the pedal. See, we get rid of all that extra overtones, all this stuff. We get rid of that, and that way it can be softer. So we have to change the pedal at the end, but otherwise you don't. So those starting with the second line of the last measure, or the last line. Starting with the second measure of the last line. You figure it out. I don't know where it's here. Here. Now change it. And at the end, lift the keys up. Keep the hands on the keys. Just lift the keys up and then slowly lift the pedal and let the sound just die away. That way you see the dampers are just barely touching, slowly touching the strings, something. And the sound dies away. If you get a buzzing sound, then you need to have your technician look at your dampers. The felts may be getting hard or something. There's a problem. They should not buzz because you release the pedal slowly. You see there's a retardondo at the end. That means slow down a little bit. You're here, last line, then here. Just start slowing down a little bit. You get the idea, I hope. And that's the piece. Let's play it together slowly. I'm not going to do dynamics, so I want to check the notes and the rhythms and all and make sure. And we are going to do the repeat. First and second endings. I didn't talk about the first and second endings. I'm hoping you understand those by now. If not, maybe you need to go back to book 1 and go through it again and cover things. It's important you understand every symbol and everything that's in the book. That's in here. And I don't necessarily explain absolutely everything in every video, but through the videos, through all of them, I do cover them all, everything, eventually. So if you have questions, be sure and ask, because it says like at the beginning, espressivo means expressively. You got to get to know it first, and then you try and play it expressively. Well, we play everything in music expressively, more or less, so that doesn't mean a lot to me. It's a sweet, emotional piece. Go listen to the recordings of it. You'll understand. I want to give us 4 counts. Let's play it together slowly. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, off.